Good afternoon, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to episode 7 of my afternoon tea time and a card. I'm going to give it a few more seconds for everyone to join me. I missed 2 weeks ago. I've had so many doctor's appointments to go to with Dave that I ended up having to miss one of these. So I'm back on track. Hi, Cindy. Glad you're here. Okay, I'm just going to wait a few more seconds. Okay, I can see everyone coming on. So today for afternoon tea time and a card, I'm going to be using the A Wild Rose stamp set. I actually had somebody ask me, or kind of begged me, to show them how to do the flowers because it's a 3-step stamping on the flowers and on the leaves both. Now the first card I'm going to do, some of you guys have seen it because it was part of my open house, but I'm going to show you how I did this one, and then I'm going to do a second card today only because some of you guys have seen this already. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. So let me get started by showing you, oh, I forgot to show you the dies too. This comes with coordinating the Wild Rose dies. I'm using the 2 leaves you see here, the rose, and then this little flowered lattice die that is really cute. Okay, so for card number 1, and I'm using the new in colors for both cards. This is Pretty Peacock, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Whisper White, 5 1/4 by 4. A scrap piece for my rose because the rose is done separately. And then I've gone ahead and cut out 2 of the leaves. Now I wanted to talk about the leaves a little bit. When I cut mine, they cut well, but the little guts on the inside stay intact. So you could actually use them by popping out the little guts, or you could use them with them intact. So either way works fine. What I want to do is bring in my little flower images. Now, these are a little tricky. What you need to do before you pull them off your sheet is take notice of the way that they're positioned on your sheet. They're all facing the right direction. This is how they need to be stamped. So what I did with mine is I used a black permanent marker and I added a dot to one of the petals. So as you can see, the 3 dots right here tell me which direction the stamps need to be in when I'm stamping. So that's just a little tip that I use. Whoever requested for me to use this stamp set today wanted to know how I can figure out which way to stamp my images, and that's how I do it. Now on this one, I added the permanent mark inside the stamp. On these ones, because they're flat, I pressed really hard and it's inside of the detail. So eventually it probably will wear out a little bit, but it should help to guide you guys. And then you can just touch up your little permanent marks once you figure out where they should go. So let's start out with the background layer. Let me bring my card back in. So I'm going to start out by doing the leaves in the background. Let me show you the colors I'm using today. Seaside Spray, Pretty Peacock, Memento Black, Pear Pizzazz, and Call Me Clover. So I'm going to start out with the leaves. I'm going to start out with the outline. Now the leaves are self-explanatory. Those are pretty easy to figure out. So I'm going to stamp 1 in the corner. One below that. It's going to look like a hot mess right here in the center, but remember we're going to cover that with the rose. Okay, so there's my 3 leaves. Next, I'm going to bring in the Pear Pizzazz. It's going to go right inside the leaves, and it's pretty easy to see the image when you're stamping. So I'm going to do this 3 times. It's kind of funny because I re-inked all of my ink pads, and this is a lot darker than what you see here, but it is the same color. Now we're going to go with Call Me Clover, and that again is going to go on top of the Pear Pizzazz. So you can see where you see some of the Pear Pizzazz sticking through because this image doesn't cover the whole leaf. So you've got a tri-color going on. Okay, there's my 3 leaves. It looks kind of funky right now. Next, I'm going to bring in Seaside Spray. I'm going to do, the sentiment is in 2 pieces. I'm going to do the little one at the bottom first because that one will be nice and straight. And that was with Seaside Spray. The next color is Pretty Peacock. And that is the Pretty Blessed sentiment. That's going to go right over the smaller one. Look how pretty that is. Okay, now we're going to do the flower. I'm going to set this aside. Again, I'm going to start out with the lined image. My little dot, when I flip it over, is at the top left. Next color is going to be the Pretty Peacock. This is number 2. Again, when I flip it over, top left. And this is going to line up perfectly. See, look how pretty. The last color is Pretty Peacock. Again, line up your image. And there's my pretty flower. Now, let me bring in the big shot so I can cut that out. I am going to use washi tape. So all you're going to watch me cut out today is 2 flowers. I've already gone ahead and cut out the leaves. Okay, let me bring my card back in. I'm going to glue this down on the card base. And then I'm going to use Stamping Dimensionals to glue the flower down. I'm going to leave the little guts in my leaves, so I'm going to show you the difference, and you guys can decide which one you like the best. That's going to go right in the center. And then all I'm going to do is tuck the leaves in there. So that one's going to go right there. And this one's going to go right here. So now you can see the difference in the 2 leaves. Let me tuck this one just a tad bit more. So you have the open leaves, and then you have the one where I left the guts on the inside. So you can tell me which one you like best. I think they both look great. Now let me go ahead and set up for card number 2. Now this card that I'm showing you is a card that I made for a swap. I had made 26 of them. This is the Seaside Spray 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then same thing, I left the leaves with the little guts intact. That's Mossy Meadow. I cut 2 of those. This is vellum cardstock that I cut with this die. And then this time I'm going to actually, I lied to you, I actually have to cut out some leaves also. So let me go ahead and clean my stamps. I got a new chamois in the mail today, and I haven't gotten it dirty yet. This one looks awful, but it still works well. Let me clean my leaf stamps also. Okay, now where's my card? Here's my card. Did I show you the card? I don't think I showed it to you. So I did some of the line image stamping in the background. I've got the vellum layer going across. I've got 2 leaves here that I stamped and die cut, and then the flower. So let me start out by doing the outlined image, and that's with Seaside Spray. I'm going to start right in the corner, and I am going to turn my flower so that it's not always facing the same direction. Now this one I'm going to overlap, but you won't be able to see that anyway. And last one in the corner. Okay, so there's my background. My next step is going to be to glue my vellum in place. Let me see if I can bring in a little scrap piece of paper. I'm going to put a little dot of the liquid glue. And I'm going to bring in a scrap to put my vellum on. What I do is I use a sponge that I keep in a container. I just dab on the glue and then I pounce on my cardstock. I used this in one of my classes the other day and the girls liked this idea. Okay, so now I have glue all over my vellum. I'm going to add that in the center. Okay, so that's all ready to go. Now we just need to do the flower and the leaves. Let me see, for the flower, so I'm using Mossy Meadow, Soft Suede, Coastal Cabana, and Bermuda Bay. Let me get situated here. I lost my flower. Hold on. Where is my flower? Well, isn't that weird? I lost my line image. I just used it. Where did it go? Do you guys see it? Oh, here it is. It's all the way to the right. Okay, I'm going to start by doing the outline with Bermuda Bay. And then I'm using Bermuda Bay again the second time, but this time I'm going to stamp off on a scrap piece of paper. Actually, hold on, I missed a step. Coastal Cabana first is the bolder image. It's going to be a little bit lighter. And I wasn't watching where my dot was sitting after I told you guys how to do it. And then I'm going to do the detail with the Bermuda. No, I'm going to start over. I need to pay attention to where my dot was because I totally messed that up. Now I lost my flower again. That flower keeps walking off on me. Okay, here we go. Bermuda Bay dot at the top left. Coastal Cabana dot at the top left. And I remember this, I made this card like 2 months ago. What I did is actually stamped off on the scrap to get some of the color off so that it's a lighter image. And then dot at the top left, stamp off. There, that's better. It's not as dark as this one for some reason. I think my ink pads need to be inked. Okay, now let's do the leaves. Now for the leaves this time, I only used 2. I used one of the detail and then the line image with Mossy Meadow. same color this time. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stamp off on scrap first, just to get a lighter image. And now I just need to cut out the flower and the 2 leaves. Let's see, I've got the leaf right here. What are the chances that I'm going to be able to find the flower die? Right there. I tend to just throw things aside when I'm done with them. Let's see if we can cut 2 in one swoop. I just need to figure out where the flower needs to go, right there. Let me get a piece of washi. Oh, Cookie, you lose things just like I do. I just send them flying is my problem. I'm done with it, and then I just send them flying. Okay, and then here's one of the leaves. I'm going to have to do the leaf twice. Okay, so we got one more leaf to cut. I'm not really happy with the color of my flower, only because my ink pads need to be inked, but that's okay. It looks a little different than the first one. I should get a magnetic tray. I actually made one with a stamp case. I made it opens up and it has 2 magnets on it. Do you think I'd remember to bring it with me? Okay. Now let's go ahead and glue to the card base. So I hope you guys will try the tip for the flower, lining up your flowers. It's so much easier when you have that guide there to help you. Okay, now I need to do my blessed, and this one's going to be in soft suede. I think I'll glue the flower in place first, just in case it gets in the way. Oh, it looks like everybody has a mechanics tray to help them with their dies. See, I made one, but I just don't remember to use it. That goes here. You know what I forgot too? I forgot the center of the flower. I can still do that. There we go. Now let's go ahead and add all of these leaves. And again, I'm going to leave the die cut one with the guts inside. And you guys can decide which one you like the best. Okay, this one's going to go right here. One up top. I'm going to sneak this one right here. And then all I've got left is the sentiment and the pearls. So you can see that these leaves stand out a lot more, but a lot of you might like the die cut look instead. Okay, there's my sentiment. And lastly, we're going to add some pearls. I don't know why those are sticking to my finger instead of the piercing tool. There we go. There's card number 2. So I've got 2 of these and then 2 of these. What do you guys think? So do you like the open flower or leaf rather than the one with all the guts still intact? Both of them look pretty. I don't know which one I prefer. I like them both. So anyway, that's it for my card today. I hope you learned a little bit about how to line up your flowers. And I will see you again for my afternoon tea time and a card in a couple weeks. I try to do these every 2 weeks. So thanks for joining me, you guys. See you later. Have a good day.